coming to see the side of Vicksburg from the residents who lived in this area here at the old Courthouse Museum. It's definitely a must. Jonah and I are here in Vicksburg going to the old Courthouse Museum. And I want you to look at this place. Now this is old South, isn't it, Joan?
Oh yeah.
Got these old magnolias here. Look at these things. Oh my goodness. I can only imagine what they look like when they pop out. And then the old oaks stretching out over there. I'm looking forward to seeing this piece of history here and all that it has to offer. It's just absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. So we see a few things here. This is where Jefferson Davis launched his political career, right from this square. All kinds of history here. Amazing. So we're going to see the other side of the Civil War history. We're here at the courthouse. So you will see a little bit of everything here, but there is going to be some interesting artifacts that we're going to see here in the area. It's really quite amazing. Really quite amazing. You can see, look at this. Here is the July the 2nd and July the 4th edition of the newspapers. These are original. That's absolutely phenomenal. Describing the siege of 1863. That's absolutely spectacular. Just piece after piece of history. I found this spectacular. And then can you imagine this? We've got, look at the letters that was written to the soldiers of the period. Belt buckles, oh my goodness, buttons, bullets from the rifles, mini balls. Look at that. But here is something that's really amazing. Here is the flag that was never surrendered from the 21st Mississippi, brought home from Appomattox. Look at that. You can see bullet holes through it. It's unbelievable. Look at the cannonballs. Would you look at that? These all came from Union mortar boats. Look at this. These are all Union shells that were excavated from the area. Amazing. Flag of the 28th Regiment from Mississippi. And there's General John C. Pemberton, defender of Vicksburg. Look at that. Guns, bayonets. Look at the old Remington cap and ball here that was dug up out of the ground in '79. Oh, look at the guns from the period. Look at this. This is a treasure trove. An 1870 Plains rifle, Enfield. All these are muskets. Look at that. An old Spencer. And what is that plate right there in the middle? That is body armor. Amazing. You can actually see dents in it. Oh, this is something rare. You don't see this very often. As a matter of fact, I don't think I've ever seen it. Look at the Confederate currency from the period. Look at that. Amount of shells from the cannons and the mortars that were dug up from this area. Look at all this. How could have anything survived? Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Look at this. One of the interesting things to see is just the artifacts from many who lived in Vicksburg before the Civil War. And this was an area of quite affluence. And we saw that over at the National Park. They had people here who lived here from Europe. But you can even find like those vases there are from Austria, made in 1734. A china set made in 1799. And you can see, beautiful hand-carved furniture. This was from William McCradle, who was a famous editor from Vicksburg. And musical instruments from the period. Old portraits. Interesting. This is just a series of photos, and I apologize, it's going to be dark in here. I'll try to brighten it up, but you can actually see the steamships from this period. Would you look at that? And what's so amazing is just, look at this. Just picture after picture. It's really quite amazing. Look at that. All your steamboats, look at this. What a ton of history. This is another room showing life from the 1800s, early 1800s. Look at this. From the old hand-carved items. Look at that. And then we have a number of Choctaw Indian pieces. Would you look at this?
The Choctaw?
Choctaw, uh-huh. Look at that. And look at all the old pottery from that period. Look at this. Just very, very old pieces. Some of this are saying dates back to 1400 AD. 1200 AD. Wow. And look at this collection of arrowheads. Wow, that's amazing. Something, isn't it, Joan?
Yeah.
Look at that. Oh my goodness. This was from, I'm trying to find a date here of the drugstore, W.H. Jones Brother Druggist. Yeah, 1880s. These are items from the 1880s. Look at this. So we're upstairs at the courthouse now. We'll go into the courtroom in just a second. Calling this the costume room. Costume room, Joan.
This is the fashion back in the day.
Look at the fashion from that period. So we have everything. Look at the children's shoes. Look at this. Oh my goodness, look at clothing. Joan, aren't you?
That's already come back.
Yeah. Look at this from the mid 1800s. Aren't you so glad you can wear shorts?
Yes, I am.
Look at that. Let's walking around that way. Oh my goodness. I know, I've never seen this before. What is that? That's a wedding dress from 1885.
Of Elizabeth C.
Look at that.
Redder.
Look at that. A silk dress from 1853. Wow, that was probably pretty highfalutin. And
these are dresses that were seen in the presidential era of Pearson.
And there is a wedding coat and vest from 1869. Look at that. That is something else. Look at the old christening dress. Look at that.
And did they put that on boys too?
I don't know. Oh my goodness, look at these. in 1884.
Notice all of them have long sleeves.
Yes, they
because
did.
women were not supposed to show their arms.
Couldn't show their arms. Look at that. Oh my goodness. And then we have old quilts from that period. Look at that. Look at all these old quilts. Goodness. So our daughter Julie collected Jenny Lind dolls, your porcelain dolls, but she has never seen anything like this. These are old porcelain dolls, and I'm looking at some of the dates of these being 1852, 1843. Look at this, 1852. That is something. Look at this. These are all back. Look at this one here. This one, 1786. Jules, I hope you're seeing this one. Isn't that something? They're called Gotti's Lady Miniatures. Look at that. But these are just absolutely priceless. Look at the old bicycle. Oh my goodness. It's called a penny farthing. 1869. Writing that meant you really wanted to get somewhere. And before YouTube, you had these old cameras. Look at this stuff. Some of this is pretty old. Look at the old box camera right there from the 1800s.
And down here.
Old typewriters. This area is called Early Americana. And you see everything from old guns from the late 1800s to early 1900s. Old clockworks, toys, just plaster moldings from the area. Look at these old toys. Here's some old toys. Here you go, little rocking chair from 1891. Look at this. Look at this old doll here from around 1840 to 1850. Isn't this something? Well, we're continuing the tour of the courthouse. We're just finding so much interesting stuff. We're upstairs now, and calling this stuff Early Americana. We're seeing everything from old dresses from the 1880s, and you saw the old bicycle. They even have, here you go, here's things from World War II that people brought back from the war. Old dolls, just a little bit of everything. Now in here where we're headed is the old courthouse, and I think this might be interesting to see. Look at this. Here's the old courthouse. Oh my goodness. Look at this. Court was held here first in 1859. 1859. Look at this old courthouse. And I imagine those back in the day were probably gas, I'm guessing. As stately as they are, converted to electric. This is something else that's interesting here too, the doors. All the doors are these big steel things. Big heavy-duty steel things. It was built like that before the Civil War. So here's your jurors. All 12. I'm not sure who these parties would have been. You got your table here for either the defense, maybe. This is where the judge sat. Here's the interesting thing. This is called an iron dais. Look at this. This thing here, see if I can do this, is all solid cast iron. And that's where the judge sat. Had a long table up here. All this is, it's solid cast. It came out of Ohio in the 1860s. It really is quite spectacular, isn't it? And just really an amazing building. The interesting thing about it, this was shelled heavily during the Civil War because it was about the highest target on the hill from the river. So the Union ships shelled it, but it was repaired and continued to operate for a long time. Then it was hit by a tornado many years later and was rebuilt again. Well, Joan, I understand the fine folks here gave you a present before we left. Look at this.
You get to cook for us.
Joan gets to cook for us.
I think I can do it too.
We got this really neat cookbook with real old recipes. I'm going to walk around and just show you the grounds a little bit of this beautiful, beautiful old courthouse. There's just, you know how I am about trees and things like that. But anyway, I think there's a few things that I think we'll all find interesting here. Look at just all the old brick. I wish I could translate something better than this video of just these massive columns of the structure of this place. It really is quite spectacular. And just kind of showing you some of the things that are out and about here. I was hoping I could kind of give you a view of the river from here. I'm not sure that I can do that. But again, from the top, this was seen from the river, and of course it was shelled. But just look at these old magnolias. Oh, and they're getting ready. Oh, I think they've already bloomed. They have. All the old magnolias have bloomed. But look at that. So there's places in the granite here that I think you'll find this interesting. And if you look here, you'll see in the granite, can you see that? This is graffiti. This is not modern. This graffiti is from Grant's soldiers when he addressed his troops as they stood down there at the bottom. He stood here and addressed his troops, and they scratched this graffiti in here. This is from the 1800s, and you see it in a number of different locations. It's on this pillar and over there on the other side. Isn't that something? Oh my goodness, look at that big old oak. It's quite a place. Quite a place. Well, I love history. Joan loves history. This was absolutely amazing. We've seen so much today, from going through the war memorial over there, from seeing the dedication to all the Union soldiers that were here, and then coming to see the side of Vicksburg from the residents who lived in this area here at the old Courthouse Museum. It's definitely a must. There was actually so much more here other than just Civil War. We saw
children's toys, baby dolls from way back.
Saw clothing.
There was just so much to see.
And even saw some Indian artifacts that people had donated from when the Choctaw Indians lived here as well. So it's a beautiful place. I guess we could say the history is diverse, and really so much more to see. And we're not done here. We're getting ready to go to one more spot. I hope we can make it before it closes today. I love RV life. How about you, Joan?
Ooh, I do love RV life.